Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today, I'm going to be talking about my favorite watercolor brands. So I've been using watercolor as a medium for most of my work when it comes to lettering and travel illustration. So I guess over the years, I've been experimenting on different types that really suit the type of work that I love doing. So I'm going to be sharing an in-depth review of each of these favorite brands today. So do keep watching to know more about them. So I'm starting off with this set of Ecoline liquid watercolors, concentrated watercolors. So they are very versatile in the sense that the pigments are very bright, and if you're into brush lettering or basically painting letters, this is the best set for you. I'm just swatching the initial colors, but these are a bit changed because I have this technique that I use for my Ecoline watercolors, which is like a gradient style bubble squarish lettering, which I'm applying here. So what I do is I just dip the brush into the different bottles so that I'll have this like gradient effect. As you can see, I'm using colors that look very desaturated and very brownish because that's what happened when I mixed all of my colors. So they have some sort of like olivish green shade on most of the outputs. So this font style is actually included in one of my books, and I called it, I think it was flat brush lettering. So yeah, basically it's more of mixing the colors and see how they turn out, which looks like this. Next up is this Caran set that I have. These are gouache paints. So gouache is like watercolor but with a more opaque color payoff on paper, meaning you won't see how transparent it is. I'm just showing you a few swatches of the paint. They look very transparent for now, but when they dry up, they're going to be opaque. And what I like about it is I use it a lot for my lettering work, especially because it makes my work look more 3D and not much of a watery consistency. You can also mix a lot of different colors with this, and it also comes with a white tube. So in case I want to get like pastel colors, I'll be able to do it through this palette. It's quite interesting how much colors I can actually produce using this palette. So I use it a lot for my script lettering because when it adheres to the brush, it's actually pretty consistent and I don't have a hard time painting with it. I also like to play around with the different tones of green and shades. So when I do embellishments, I make sure to add the different shades and make sure that they sort of pop out and have a dimensional effect on each artwork. Next up is this gouache set that I got from Sekaido in Japan. So this is called Holbein Acryla Gouache. It's a mixture of acrylic and gouache, meaning it's not water-based, and what happens is you have to make sure that the quality is very opaque and you have to use a wooden palette to put the color in, because if not it's not gonna wear off the paper or wherever you put it, or a plastic palette. And what's nice about the CMYK, that's cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white combination, is you can come up with the whole color palette based on these 5 colors. So as you can see here, I'm expanding the palette and I'm able to use them in a variety of ways to achieve different colors. Like I'm getting this like old rose color, but eventually I'm gonna add a bit of white and make it look a bit lighter, and then you can also layer a lot of color here and pigment and it won't affect the initial layer, which is great because that's what the effect is for. This is my favorite watercolor brand. It's called Schmincke. I've been using this since 2015 and I got a set of 12. I bought this in Paris impulsively from an art store called Sennelier. It comes in 12 colors, but I added another set on the right side so that I have more colors to play around with. Here's some of the color swatches. As you can see, what I like about this is just one dip of water and brush to the pan and you get a very, very bright and very light, fast consistency, which is what you want for a watercolor. These are artist grade, meaning they're very, very highly suitable for archival work that won't fade over time. These are actually made in Germany, and I am really, really a huge fan of the paint quality because even if I use it for lettering or illustration like this one, I can really see the colors pop out. And what you really want for a watercolor is to make sure that the colors really adhere to the paper and really give a good payoff, because the better the quality of your paint is, the better the output will be on your paper. I still think paint and paper are really crucial, apart from the brushes, of course. So I'm just adding some shadows here to sort of make the artwork look a bit more 3D. I also use this one for most of my lettering work. This is the Faber-Castell set of 12 watercolors. What's nice about this, it's a very beginner-friendly set, and you can use it for anything, illustration, lettering. I usually use it for both, and you can make the colors as saturated or as desaturated as you want. I always add a bit of brown to make it look a bit more dull, although in the video it looks a bit brighter. So I'm also using the Faber-Castell water brush, which is pretty easy. You just load it with water and seal it with a cap and just press it to start, and you're basically good to go. So it's pretty easy to use. I'm also using this Winsor Newton watercolor tube set. So if you're not into pans, this is an option for you. The watercolors are artist grade as well, so you can easily see the pigment come out, and it doesn't really look grainy, which is great. And you're supposed to make sure that the quality of the paint really shines through the paper. So yeah, I really like this, especially for illustration work, because it makes my work really pop out. So those are my recommended and favorite watercolor brands. I suggest, if you're starting out, to get a set of Ecoline paints. So these paints are very affordable, and they also come in a variety of colors, and the disposition and the payoff of the color on paper is actually very transparent and vibrant. So it's really a good purchase if you're starting out. If you're thinking of going more into artist grade watercolors and doing more professional work, I really recommend getting the Schmincke. This one is made in Germany, and the colors are very light, fast, and archival, meaning it will last a very long time on paper, and the color is also pretty vibrant. So it's really a good buy, it's a good investment. Fun fact, this is actually my first ever artist grade watercolor set, and it still is one that I use often because the quality is really superb. And every time I make art for my books, I think, I always try to make sure that I use quality paint for the artwork to really come out. And then lastly, I've been trying to experiment on another type of watercolor, which is called gouache. So gouache paints are opaque. So if you want to get into gouache but you're kind of clueless on how to start, I really recommend you to get a set of this Holbein Acryla Gouache Set. This one comes in 5 basic colors. So this is the CMYK set. It's cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white. I got this in Japan, and it's not that expensive, and actually each tube is really inexpensive. So it's a really good start, and if you really want to experiment more, I think this is the perfect set for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about different types of watercolor and what you want to use, feel free to comment below, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. If you have any specific brands you want to recommend to me, go ahead, let me know, because I'm always curious and on the hunt for new watercolor brands to try. Thanks, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And also, if you want to get notified on my channel and new updates, just don't forget to click the bell. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye!